Okay, so first I want to talk about just one of the more annoying things about the Chevy Bolt that I've noticed. Um, so I'm pulling into the garage here and gonna park. If you unbuckle your seatbelt first, it will set the park brake. Um, if you don't, put it in park first. So I will try that again. And you can, I don't know, you probably couldn't tell that, but kind of lurches out when you set the when it unsets the park brake. When you hit the accelerator button, it kind of lurches forward. But to stop that, just took me a while to figure this out. But park first, and then undo your seatbelt. And that's not the only time it sets the emergency park brake without you wanting it to. I'll go back down my driveway a little bit. If I park here in a little bit of an angle, I'll set the park brake too. Sometimes when you're sitting in traffic, it'll set the park brake as well, even if you're in gear. I've had that happen in an ATM when I'm waiting on construction as well. But there is, so let's just move on to maintenance. And this is one of the big selling points of a full electric vehicle over a plug-in hybrid. There's just so little maintenance, it's ridiculous. So periodic maintenance is basically just checking fluid levels, and 22,000 miles before you replace anything. That's just your air filter. So with a plug-in hybrid, you still have that engine that requires all that maintenance, oil filter change, oil change. You don't have a catalytic converter, you don't have a fuel pump, you don't have an alternator, you don't have any belts to replace. So basically almost maintenance free for a full battery electric vehicle. But next thing would be to talk about battery range. So I'm at full battery right now. I just got it off the charger, and you can see 212 miles. And this is like all temperature related. Lithium-ion batteries don't perform as well at a lower temperature. So this is what I've been seeing, about around 4 miles per kilowatt hour. During the summer, I was seeing about 4.5. So this is the average of the summer plus recently, and the weather's been freezing to 40s to 50s. So my average has dropped quite a bit. 212 miles. I can probably expect to get about 200 miles off of a full charge this kind of weather. I haven't driven it, really below freezing yet. But during the summer months, it did really well when it's about 90 degrees. When it gets up, closer to 100, it'll kick on the cooler, or the compressor to cool the battery, which I only ever saw that happen once, when it got close to 100 degrees. So that radiator was only being used to cool the battery just one time in the 10,000 miles of this car's life so far. But you can, for the heating the cabin does take quite a bit of energy. You're not just using radiator like when your internal combustion engine radiator heat to heat the air cabin. It does take quite a bit of energy. So I usually drive with minimal heating of the cabin. I have driven this car close to where it's zero state of charge at one time before. How it happens is you'll see like this turns orange when you get to low low state of charge, and the way it reacted was it told me I had 14 miles of range and I had about 14 miles left on my trip, and after that it just started flashing, and it'll tell you propulsion power lowered, but it did get me there. I haven't driven it to where it goes to where you know the car stops, so I don't really know what kind of margin I got for that. But if that does happen, which the 2017s, and this is 2018, but the 2017s had a recall for that. But yeah, I don't really know how the 2018 would react, but I guess they fixed it in the firmware. But if you do get stranded, you'll have to probably take a generator out to wherever the car is and use the stock charger that came with the car. But the other thing that you could do if you have a UPS is to plug it in, like go grab your UPS, bring it out. The car will charge, the minimum rate is I think 8 amps. So that's 120 volts, 8 amps, 960 watts. So you can charge using a UPS if you don't have a generator, but that's just a couple of options that you can have if you ever get stranded. But that's just a quick update, 10,000 miles. So if you have any more questions about the way the car's been handling or anything, just let me know. I can answer them in the comments. Thanks. I forgot to mention earlier, I got the Simonize package, and the exterior of the vehicle looks great, except I do have this little wear here where the armrest comes down and I rest my arm. But yeah, driving highway speeds, mileage really goes down in the cold weather. See 3 miles per kilowatt hour with the 60 kilowatt hour battery. That's 180 miles. So it's what you can expect, at least it's your minimum range. But just wanted to mention that before I ended the video.